welcome to my book review. I haven't done a book review in a little while, but I am going to be reviewing Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo because I finally read the second book in the Grisha trilogy. I read Shadow and Bone earlier this year, and I'm finally getting through this series. I've had Shadow and Bone for years, and I got the sequels for Christmas, so now I had a chance to marathon the series, and I didn't. And then I picked up Siege and Storm on like a whim, and yeah, here we are, reviewing it. Mild spoiler alert for Shadow and Bone, because that will happen, but Shadow and Bone follows a world that is Russian-inspired fantasy. It follows a girl named Alina Starkov, who is kind of conscripted into the army, and that's just kind of everything that happens to people of the age. They get conscripted into the army, and she discovers that she is a Grisha. She has the ability to summon light. So that is the broad concept, and there is so much more to it than that, and obviously there is a war going on because it's a YA fantasy series, so of course there's a war going on. But yeah, that is Shadow and Bone. This picks up directly afterwards, where they have left Ravka. That's the only spoiler for that bit, but if you haven't read Shadow and Bone, I suggest you leave now because you won't understand anything I'm talking about. But this follows them after they leave Ravka, and it starts really bizarrely, I think. You start really far away from the problem, and then you go back to the problem. And honestly, I was really surprised. I really enjoyed this book a lot more than Shadow and Bone. I'd give this like a 4.25 stars instead of the 3.5-ish stars I gave Shadow and Bone. I just thought this really built on the world splendidly. I thought Leigh Bardugo did an excellent job at expanding what she had established in Shadow and Bone into a much broader, more thought out world. I thought it really built nicely. I thought the characters all went through really nice character arcs throughout the book, and I thought the development of Alina especially was interesting because certain things happen in this book that make it more difficult for Alina to remain Alina-ish, which sounds weird, but the writing is great. I just think it's much better than Shadow and Bone. I adored this one more than Shadow and Bone, like so much more though. It's not without its flaws. I do still have a problem with Alina as a main character. I think she is rather bland. Like, I don't really... she's there. And then I will talk about the other bit at the end, because that's a huge thing that I will talk about. But that is a spoiler-free kind of section. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a really nice world development. The storyline was interesting and nicely formed and had a lot of political intrigue introduced, which I am an absolute sucker for. So, spoiler-free, done, go. Let's move on to spoilers. Spoilers that, oh my god. Okay, my favourite part about this book was Nikolai. I love Nikolai. I cannot explain why I love Nikolai. I just adore him. He's obviously introduced as like a pirate at the beginning. He's a privateer, and he smuggles things, and you're led to believe he's one person, and then they get back to Ravka, and then it turns out that they were smuggling Mal and Alina for Nikolai, which is Stormhund. I can't pronounce it because the words are all really hard to pronounce, but I adored it. I thought it was such a clever twist, because obviously it's established that you can alter your appearance with tailors, so it was just so good. It was so clever. I just thought it was so clever. And Nikolai as a character introduces a lot more political intrigue because he is the prince of Ravka. He is the prince, he is the son of the queen and the king, and through him and his alliance with Alina, which I adored, I thought his and Alina's relationship was really interesting because they start off kind of at odds, and then through, like, Nikolai is just such a nice guy. He's so witty. He's such a people person. Even Alina, who is really not a people person, like, comes around to his side. And they work together. They've formed this bond. They've formed this, like, yeah, teamwork to help with the Darkling problem. Because the Darkling has vanished after he captured Alina at the beginning of the book. And he's obviously going to mount an attack because it's the Darkling. And just seeing the court bits was so cool. You had Alina trying to learn to run the Second Army, whilst Nikolai was like keeping her informed with everything else. And he is so clever. I just love him so much. He's such a clever character. He built like ships that go by wind, by the squalors. That's just so cool. I just love him so much. Let me not talk about him the whole time though, even though I totally could. Next point, the amplifiers. The amplifiers was something that was really like, I don't feel like explored a lot in book 1. You kind of know about Morozova's stag, and then in this one you find out about Ryvule. I can't say it. It's the snaky dragon thing, and they actually don't take very long to kill it, but it kind of introduces the concept of having multiple amplifiers, which you're told in book 1 can't happen. But these are Morozova's amplifiers, so, you know. But basically, I think it's kind of like a MacGuffin for the series, because you have 3 amplifiers that are Morozova's, and by the end of this book, Alina has 2 of them. So she's obviously looking for the 3rd one in Ruin and Rising, which I have started. But, so, it's weird because they obviously provide a lot of power, and they are very powerful, and it means that Alina is so much better with her, like, sun summoning, and I like it. I thought the lore behind it was very well done. I think Leigh Bardugo's done an excellent job at fleshing that out, especially in this book initially, and she has fleshed it out further in Seasonal Store in Ruin and Rising, but that's a spoilerish kind of thing. Shh, me. But I don't know how I feel about it, because it is very, I feel it's very cliche to want to find some mystical, shapy things to help you, but the Darkling has gained more power in this book because he has Mervost. This is Mervost? I can't remember. It's so hard to pronounce the words. He has magic, and he summoned all of the Nothings, and they're deadly, and yeah, this was interesting, especially because the Nothings are evil, like evil, and it clearly hurts the Darkling, but you know, we don't care about the Darkling. Even though he makes loads of appearances in this book as a apparition, it's really weird, because I thought Alina was going insane. I legit thought, like, what the flying fuck was going on? I had no idea what was going on. She kept seeing him everywhere, and it was really creepy and really well done. I thought it was very atmospheric, especially when she was living in his room. Really weird, really bizarre situation to be in. But, yeah. So you have the Darkling, and then you have, like, Vasily, who is introduced, who is Nikolai's brother, who is an absolute twat. I absolutely detest Vasily. When he was introduced, I was like, I know I'm going to hate you. You're a character I can just tell I am not going to get on with at all. And I was right, because at the end, he massively screws up, and I was so like, you bloody idiot, you twat, you stupid, stupid boy. And then he dies, and I was so happy. Like, not very often am I happy that a character dies, but I was so happy he died. It was just so good. The ending, actually, I thought was phenomenal. The whole ending was spectacular. Obviously, throughout the book, you get the planning. They're planning for the Darkling's attack. He's going to have to come to Ravka because he has a limited radius with the Nothings. So he has to come to Ravka. So, throughout the book, they're planning. Nikolai and Alina have kind of formed an alliance to plan. And Alina is breaking down the boundaries in the Second Army and getting the Ethereal Key, the Capral Key, and the the Material Key to, like, sit together and work together. And as a result of that, you have the massive dish things that with the mirrors that help her reflect her powers, and it's like a super weapon. It would have been so useful. And they use it in, like, a practice run, and it's so cool. It, like, slices a tree, slices, like, the tops of a tree off, and it's really cool. And then Vasily, he's been away looking for show ponies or whatever, and it turns out he was negotiating a truce with the Fjerdans. Turns out the Fjerdans don't need the truce. They are allied with the Darkling a little bit, and he gets them to basically abandon a watch post, and then it's a free attack on the Darkling, and the Darkling comes and massacres the Second Army and the First Army, because the First Armies begin working together. It's so cool. They begin to learn from each other, and Nikolai has all this weaponry that's really good because he's really clever. He invents it, and they have all of this, but it still doesn't pay off because Vasily gives the Darkling the element of surprise, and he does, and he absolutely massacres them. Only like 7 or, no, how many is it? 12, I think, or something like that, survive from Alina's, like, Second Army. It was absolutely barbaric. And I just thought that whole action sequence at the end was incredible. I thought Leigh Bardugo did a splendid job on it. And then you have the fight between the Darkling and Alina, where she almost defeats him by killing herself and him at the same time. And it would have been so cool if that had worked, but obviously it can't work because it's a trilogy. And yeah, I really enjoyed that scene. I thought it was really dark and really clever. I thought it was a bit depressing. But Alina's story, I mean, like, Alina's been a bit like this the whole way through. She's been a bit uncertain. So, yeah. I just loved the action and the plot. I thought it was really good. And the one reason I'm never going to give this book 5 stars, and why I don't think me and YA are the best of friends anymore, is the love interests. Oh my god. Mal in this book, I bloody hated him. Why is he such a petulant child about everything? I know Alina has had to, like, step up her game and become this kind of more political figure, but, like, stop being a whiny bitch. Oh, it was so annoying. And Nikolai was interested in her for political reasons, and then Vasily was interested in her for political reasons, and then the Darkling still has this weird infatuation with her, and I was just like, 4 guys, in some way, shape or form, have propositioned you in this book for some sort of arrangement where you would be in a relationship. I was like, what? And Alina is like, no offence to her, but she's described as not being all that pretty. Like, all of the girls are like, why does Mal choose you? Because Mal is gorgeous, and why does he pick you? So, like, I understand she's got the power, but, like, seriously, every guy is like, oh my god, Alina. I'm like, no, stop. Stop, stop, stop. Good additions in this book, though. Tamara and Talia. Loved them. Tamara especially is so funny. She is so witty and sarcastic the whole way through, and Talia is like low-key quite deep. It's nice, but yeah, I have a real frustration with YA at the moment, and the love interest, and the love, this wasn't even a love triangle, right? Who knows what this was? But yeah, long story short, I really love Nikolai, I really love the plot, and I'm excited to see how it ends. So that was my interesting review on Siege and Storm. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have another one up soon, so good. Bye!